Hello Spartans and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going through 5 things that I think really needed to be added to Blade and Sorcery, either in 1.0 or in a future update after that. These just need to be here. Let's go. And our first big feature that needs to be added to Blade and Sorcery is half swording. I find that when I'm fighting enemies with armor, I struggle to sometimes get into those gaps, and really just the handling on swords isn't great when you're just using the handle. It's kind of frustrating to get those close stabs. Now half swording kind of exists in the base game. You can grab the weapon, but there's no real handle. And that's all that needs to be added to the weapons, is just a handle on the blade. You can see here, if we go over to the Medieval Mega Pack, you can actually select any sword from the Medieval Mega Pack, and you can go ahead and just half sword that thing. You can grab the handle, and it adds real control. And I really think that is so important to be able to do. I think that being able to half sword gives you way more maneuverability on the weapon. It gives you way more just power through stabbing, and it also gives more opportunities to block as well. Now being able to block with half swording gives you a huge area to block with, and it also gives you more of a solid stance on that block. People aren't going to break through that guard at all, and that's really, really important. Now it also gives opportunities for things like the Mordhau grip, which means you're able to bash with the handle, which does lots and lots of damage. And it'd be great against, armored enemies if you don't have a blunt weapon. Being able to switch up and use Mordhau grip and hit people with the hilt of your sword and bash in their helmets is just a really unique way of fighting. And I think it would really bring out some new combat ways and new ways to kill enemies in the game. But anyway, with that being said, that's why I think half swording should be in. Let's move on to our next feature. And our second big feature I think should be added to the game is loot in dungeons. Now I know they are planning this, but for now you can download the mod called Breakable's Loot, and it allows loot to spawn inside of breakable objects, which is so cool. And I really think this has to be one of the ways this is done. Being able to smash open pots and find things like cheese is just such a cool little feature. I would love to see if we can find that in the base game and get those kind of rewarding little things. No matter what, it'd be amazing to just smash open a crate and find some crazy sword that someone's been hiding inside of there. I think that would add so much to the game. Right now there is actually no reason to do a dungeon apart from just the plain fun of it. There's no benefits to going in there, so imagine there was dungeon specific loot you could only find by breaking open these crates. That would really add to the immersion, and I think that would be fantastic. As you can see, these crates now spawn spears, which is from a mod called Breakable's Loot. I will link that in the description. You guys have to check that out, because I think the immersion of being able to go and loot things in dungeons and get food, especially combined with the Medieval Mega Pack, is just fantastic, and this needs to be a base game feature, and I cannot wait to see what they do with dungeon loot when they finally add it into the game. Now, I also think that if they're going to add a currency system into the game, then absolutely dungeon loot needs to be part of that. You need to be able to break open pots and find this currency that you can use to go and buy things at the store, if there's a store for new weapons, stronger weapons and armor. I don't think armor should be found in boxes. I think that's a little ridiculous, but weapons and currency and food and potions, absolutely. Potions are a must-have inside of this kind of dungeon loot stuff. Opening chests to find weapons or breaking things to find potions to heal yourself is so cool, and absolutely needs to be in the next update. And with that being said, let's move on to our next feature. Now the next feature that I think should be absolutely added is new enemy types. We already have a couple. We have just the chicken and the human, but imagine coming into a big cave and finding a skeleton or an undead, or going into an open area and finding dogs or a bear in a cave, or just something different. I feel like fighting the same NPCs over and over again. I know for content it's definitely burnt me out a little bit, and we did apparently get custom creature tools with the SDK for modders. Don't think anyone's figured it out, and I don't think we even have access to the brain files yet, so I don't think we can even do it yet. We need brain documentation to figure out how to make custom creatures, but I'm sure people are figuring it out slowly. I know Rune Oracle is making a pretty interesting thing right now, and you guys will see when it's done. It looks fantastic. Now, the reason I want custom enemies is because can you imagine having skeletons in these underground caves that you can pull out a blunt weapon and smash them and blow them to pieces, and it would just add that extra element of, oh, what am I going to encounter next? It would really add to some more variety in the dungeons and really keep the game alive. I feel like some enemies that we fight are just getting kind of dull. Especially since the AI overhaul, they're still kind of a little bit behind at the moment, and I would love to see them. But we do have chickens for now, which are a lot of fun, and it's proof that we can get custom creatures, and I would love to see more of them added into the game. The chickens are a little fun and goofy, but to be honest, I'd love to see some attack dogs, maybe dogs you could even befriend that would follow you and attack enemies for you. That would be so cool. And like I said, the idea of a bear in a cave that we'd have to encounter, maybe sneak past or fight, would be really cool. But I mean, for now, the chickens are pretty damn good as just blunt weapons. That's what I use them for, and if we can get any other animals, I'm sure I'll find a way to use their corpse as a weapon too. Moving on to our next feature. And our next feature is mixed spell merges. Now, we know about the fire merge, don't we? We know how powerful that is. We know all about the other merges like gravity and lightning. But what if we could mix merges together? What if we could mix gravity with lightning and make some kind of gravity storm? What if we could mix fire with lightning and make a electric fire beam like plasma? You know, what if we could do gravity and fire and make some kind of meteor rain? I don't know, it would be so cool to be able to combine spells together, and I think that's what's missing from the magic in this game, and it's the only thing I can think that is missing from the magic in this game. I think it's really important that we get something like that in there. I think it would really make mage runs just so much more interesting. Right now, I play Blade and Sorcery, but I basically just play Blade. I don't use the magic much, and I think it should be something that should be exciting to use, and I think the magic has improved in U11. When U11 came out and we got those new spell mergers and the new staff attacks, I think that really improved magic. I mean, this lightning beam is one of the coolest things in the entire game, but being able to merge the different spells together and have even more unique ways to play would really ramp that up to the next level for me. And I think that if we could get some of those things, honestly, the utility of magic would just change the world of Blade and Sorcery for good. Moving on to our final feature. And our final feature, and the most important feature to me personally, is Two-Handed MPC Support. I'm so bored of fighting the same one-handed and dual wield and bow enemies. I want to fight some big greatsword motherfuckers, okay? I want to see people swinging giant swords, giant maces. I want to feel those hits. And unfortunately, currently with just the way enemies are to fight, their attacks just are not fun to fight. One-handed is just not as enjoyable to fight, and I would love to see some longsword fighters or just some more interesting attack patterns with this two-handed support. Being able to fight longsword on longsword with two-handed, you and against an enemy two-handing, would just be so unique. You can see here we have an enemy one-handing a longsword, which I have personally really enjoyed fighting since the medieval mega pack has come back out, and I think it's so cool to be able to do that. Now, if only they could two-hand it, that would really add so much to the game, and I think that is my most requested and most important feature, and I think everyone has really highly requested this, and I know they said they do have it, but it's to be defined. It used to be even predicted for U10, and it's been pushed back, and now it's not even in the official roadmap. It's in possible future updates, which is such a shame, because I think it needs to be in the game. I think it's pretty essential, and it goes with the half-swording. It's a little more complex to add. I think the half-swording one, like I said, I don't understand why they haven't done it. I'll be honest, Warpfrog, I don't understand it. It's literally adding a handle to the base game weapons. It would take 5 minutes to do, so, you know, a lot of people would appreciate it. And I understand everyone says things like, oh, it's not in the game's vision, it's not in Cosby's vision. I think that's a bullshit excuse, to be honest. And I love Warpfrog and I love you guys, but I think really it needs to be added to the game. I think a lot of people do think that, and I'll just say it straight. As well as two-handed support, should be something that should be put way up there. It should be something that's really up there in priority. Rather than, you know, pumping out new dungeon rooms and stuff, get some base features in there. I really think that would be important. But anyway, that's all I have to say for now, guys. thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and all that good stuff. And if you're interested, I will be doing a top 5 community voted features to come to the game, hopefully soon. So keep an eye out in my Discord and on YouTube for the polls for that, and I will see you guys later, in a bit.